In the end, how much worse could it get?
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets.
I was blind, but now I see.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's video. Yesterday, we broke down the DTCC patent and how XRP is literally wired into the biggest clearing system on Earth. And I'm laughing because yesterday I was saying the DTCC so fast, I wasn't even saying the correct word, but I was talking extremely fast. So in today's episode, I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit. But today, I'm going to take one step forward and actually run the math on this, because when you do the numbers, it's absolutely insane. And I want your opinions in the comments down below, because these numbers are delusional numbers. But in reality, the more value comes on chain, the more value the asset, the native asset for that chain is going to grow, right? So these numbers are crazy. When you look on the DTCC website, and I'll leave the link in the description down below because this is updated and this smells like money to me, okay? And if you guys recalled, we talked about the Fixed Income Clearing Corporation yesterday, the FICC, and where Ripple and Hidden Road were participants in the FICC, okay? The DTCC gave them clearing on March 11th and Ripple bought them in April. Okay, so this is the total value of securities processed at 3.8 trillion, and this number is actually not the recently updated one. It's 2024, so it's a bit higher. But you're going to notice one thing, and that is the settlement transaction is going to be much, much, much higher. Okay, so now we have $525 trillion dollars in settlement, ladies and gentlemen, USD in trillions. Okay, and when we talk about this big number here, we're going to break it down and we're going to say that there's approximately 90 billion XRP in circulation. We're going to keep this number high because right now the number is around 60 billion, but we're going to be more conservative with the number and say there's more XRP in circulating. That is 90% of the supply. And we're going to take out 30% of that and we're going to lock it away in reserves. Okay, there's going to be ETFs. These banks are going to be custodying it. And XRP, realistically, also keep in mind, you're not going to be selling yours for a very long time. There's many of you guys that aren't going to be selling yours for many long time. And the math that we did previously, approximately retail holds on a conservative number over 14 billion XRP tokens. Okay, 14 billion. That's, probably higher than 15%, but that's a lot. This is when you have supply and demand. Like, this is like you cannot turn away from this, and you cannot turn away from what's coming. And I'm trying to help you right here. Okay, go study my previous videos, I promise you. But not all of this is liquid. Realistically, approximately 20% of the XRP is going to be liquid. And if you look at the markets right now, these are the live numbers. XRP is at $3.04, and there's approximately 1.9 billion XRP in the 24-hour volume. Okay, that's a decent chunk, and we haven't seen anything in terms of real institutional adoption and XRP even used. Like, XRP, I'll tell you right now, is actually not being used for its real big purpose, and that is to move high value payments. And they're not there yet because the industry is not there yet in terms of regulation and scalability, because this shift is going to be monumental. I mean, it's insane to me, folks. I know the ones that get it, this is so exciting. You may say, why do you do this every single day? Because the smart ones understand how exciting this is and try to learn as much as you can about this technology, because we're going to be pioneers and we're going to fade away in terms of, we're just going to fade away. Like, we are that new 1% that is just going to fade away out of the real world, is what I like to call it. Okay. So here's the thing. XRP in practice, in my opinion, is going to be cycling about maximum 5 to 10 times a day. Okay, and that's because that's for the individuals that say XRP gets reused every 3 seconds. But you got to understand, these banks are going to be doing these payments in batches. There's going to be compliance checks, and there is going to be a little bit of institutions holding on to XRP. And Robbie Mitchnick and Susan Atley set that in their XRP valuation for $32. Okay, they said that large institutions are going to be custodying these assets. They're going to be holding on to this. So that is a fact. So when we capture just 1% of, let's just say, $40 trillion of the 4 quadrillion for the DTCC when we add it up, okay? Because these are 2024 numbers and we are peaking $4 quadrillion as of 2025. So let's say XRP is 20% liquid, and that means 20% liquid, 20% of the supply is out. We got, let's say, 10 velocity, 5 velocity. If we do 5 velocity, XRP approximately $635. And even when you bring it to, let's say, 10% liquid with 5 velocity, that's $1,200 per XRP. And I know that sounds crazy. Listen, you got to listen. Like, you really got to listen, because don't be that fool that laughed when they said Bitcoin is going to make me a billionaire when they were buying it for 40 cents and 30 cents and $1. The same thing with Ethereum. When it was at $1, 95 cents, 75 cents, the same individuals packing their bags. And the difference between XRP and all these different digital assets, XRP came and worked with regulators right off the bat. Ethereum, they did ICOs and they already pumped their markets. It's like, I'm telling you, like, the reason why XRP is not astronomical numbers right now is because we have that escrow, because Ripple is controlling majority of the supply, because it has a real use case. And here's the thing that people don't understand. People think that Ripple has been just picking their ass for the past 12 years, but little do they know they have been penetrating world organizations with their enterprise, and people think this is conspiracy, but it's not. XRP has a real purpose in this new economy. That's the difference, and that's why XRP holders are 100 times more smarter than your Bitcoin maxi, than your Ethereum maxi. But the thing is, we understand the whole industry is going to do well. That's the best part about us holders. We dissect XRP, we study XRP, but we know the whole industry as a whole is going to go well. So when Chainlink, when other communities come out and start attacking the XRP holders, saying these numbers cannot be reached, like $635 or even $1,000, is because they're not educated well enough. It's just a lack of education. And the one thing is going to heal that, and that's time. And let them think they're right now. But listen, we're going to get the last laugh, right? We're going to get the last laugh. So remember, this is just 1% of the DTCC. It doesn't include stable coins, all these different FX corridors, right? And it assumes relatively high velocity with good enough liquidity. So we could expect, like I said, expect the unexpected. I just know it's going to be a wild ride for the next coming years. So here's the bottom line. At just 1% of the DTCC's flows, XRP is nowhere near $10 to $100. It's actually much, much higher than that. And the math does it for you. And the math does not lie. Do you understand how well this is constructed if you actually understand in terms of demand, supply, and math, and how much value gets moved on these chains? Like, there could only be an infinite amount of XRP, and that's what it set out. That is the whole design of it. Oh my goodness, this is going to be astronomical. So with that being said, we will be back with another video.
They told us dream small, but we had the stars in mind. While they chased hype, we studied time. In the noise we found the signal. Brad knew just what to do. Now XRP hums like jazz, running smooth and true. Money's changing, systems bend. Ripple flow into the end. Truth is quiet, bold, and deep. We salute the ones who lose no sleep. Salute to the minds that built this chain. Salute, salute through the trials, through the pain. Salute, salute to the calm, to the wise. Salute 100 in our eyes. Bitcoin maxis yell on stage, stuck in loops they call belief, while XRPL just clears the way. No delay, no grief. They hoard coins like dusty gold, but we got utility in every fold. The future ain't loud, it's steady breathing. Real ones know what's worth believing. It ain't hype, it's code and soul. We salute the ones who see the whole. Salute to the builders, to the flow. Salute, salute where the real ones choose to go. Salute, salute to the heart, to the plan. Salute, XRP will lead the land. Value don't lie, and truth don't shake. Let the whole world break, we remake. Strategic reserve, written in stars. XRP gonna take us far. So here's to the signal, clear and bright. To the dreamers who held on tight. No matter the storm, no matter the fight. Salute, we rise with the light.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.